Alrighty, legends. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, legends. Had a little bit of glitchiness. Let me just grab this. All right, guys. So, we have a good amount to talk about. Let's just say that things are not looking too hot. First and foremost, this whole US-Iran stuff is definitely concerning. Definitely concerning. Because, yeah, I guess it's not that bad of a crash for a literal war starting, but we have to consider the fact that it's crazy here. So just to give you legends some perspective, I was actually at a beach club with one of my friends here, and we can literally see in the sky missiles getting shot down. And there's just a whole bunch of smoke in the sky. So I was able to witness that. And you can see here that, sorry if my volume is low. You can see here that the UAE came out and essentially said, due to regional hostilities, the US Embassy in Abu Dhabi and the US Consulate in Dubai have instructed staff to shelter in place. We recommend all Americans in the UAE to do the same until further notice. Now, obviously, I'm not American, but it still holds true. Guys, it was pretty damn scary. Not gonna lie. What we were seeing was pretty insane. And I wanted to run you through Trump's speech, because he had a nice 8-minute speech, and I think it could be interesting for everyone to hear what he had to say. So let's play it. It's going to be 8 minutes, but there's a lot to be said here.
A short time ago,
let me know if you can hear it.
The United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels and international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal. Something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again, they can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
I hope you guys heard all of that. I'm just grabbing the mic a little bit closer here. Yes, so this was published a while ago, but I just thought I'd give everyone an update as to what just occurred. He was all anti-war and in his first term when campaigning. That is valid. Right now, most of you guys are probably interested in the Bitcoin price action. And as far as I can tell right here, the first thing I'd like to point out is back, I think it was approximately 8 months ago when we had this news between, it can actually provide some support to move upwards, which sounds absolutely insane to say. So right now, on the 15-minute chart here, I just want to show you guys where Bitcoin is actually getting rejected. And it's crucial. It's very, very crucial that we can surpass this level right around $65,000. The reason being, we managed to hold support multiple times. If my chart is going to load here, that's frustrating. Okay, so we managed to hold support here multiple times, and this was actually the value area low. If you tuned into my last live stream yesterday, before what happened today occurred, we managed to hold the value area low as support. And I actually started the live stream by saying, guys, I entered a cheeky long and then I got stopped out at break even, which is no big deal, paid my fees. It was essentially a risk-free trade. But getting rejected at this level that we're at right now is essentially not what you want to see. You want to see Bitcoin immediately reclaim this. And as I'm live streaming to you guys right now, I can hear sounds in the background of them shooting missiles down. Something to also bring to your attention, this isn't just in the UAE, which is where I'm located, but also in Qatar. You can see the footage here. It's quite scary. And then the UAE came out and said that they intercepted a new wave of Iranian missiles. Ministry of Defense announced that UAE Air Force defense systems intercepted and destroyed a new wave of missiles launched towards the country, noting that the operation was carried out with high efficiency and without damage. Let's make a list of what the U.S. has done over the years, and not just to Iran. Yeah, so that's the thing. So look, so far, like, there's footage. I got to see them strike down missiles, which was absolutely insane. But at the end of the day, there's nothing I can really do. Some of you guys were telling me, oh man, you should go and fly back to Canada. I can't. The UAE airspaces are currently closed, just to let you know. So right now it's just a matter of just existing while this happens and see what the next outcomes are. Obviously, if you're watching the channel and you know that I'm based here, I'm always covering the Bitcoin chart. And so you'll get the latest news on the channel, but that's just the reality of things. There's nothing I can personally do about it. Now you can see here that these were the American bases that were attacked today by Iran. We have Bahrain, we have Qatar, we have Kuwait, we have the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Iraq. So yeah, a lot has been attacked. Now we just have to see what actually comes out of this. Regarding Bitcoin, at this point in time, if you want a valid long setup, because some of you have been talking about it, it's to reclaim this level at around $65,000. Structurally speaking, on a weekly time frame basis, as I've said countless times, it is not an unreasonable area for Bitcoin to get some relief. But with everything that's happening, it's very, very tricky to justify it. But if we can maintain above these levels, we can still see a little bit of a move to the upside before rejecting lower. If you've been tuning into the channel, you've been seeing my trades, I've been shorting, and I've been talking about where I'd be willing to add to my existing Bitcoin short. Let's see, Matt, pull the volume profile from 16K to 126. That is a massive volume profile, as well as around 3K to 20K, and check out the confluence. We're going to reclaim it. If we reclaim it, then nice. But you can see here that something also to consider, I talked about this in my last live stream. It was one of the reasons why I was longing silver, and gold would have been a valid option too. Precious metals can thrive in these kinds of environments where there's a lot of uncertainty. And this is one of the reasons outside of the technicals that I went long on silver. And I already secured some profits, but I just wanted to show you guys that there's always going to be some markets to trade to the upside and to the downside. And this Bitcoin chop has not been easy for anyone to trade. A reminder, I haven't talked about it yet. We're 10 minutes into the live stream. If you want to see how I'm personally trading the market, all of these trades that you're seeing here, you do have the first link in my description down below. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, and I'd be more than happy to add you to my private group. It's where I share exclusive market updates before I come on the YouTube channel, and of course, my overall trades in this market. Also remember, I'm not a financial advisor, just to make it abundantly clear. So yeah, guys, there's not that much to cover aside from the news that just came out. Right now, we're just seeing the outcome of shooting down these missiles. You can see that they're looking for de-escalation, Iran that is, and they're saying that they do not have missiles capable of actually reaching the U.S. They will not develop missiles capable of reaching the U.S., and they will not give up their right to enrich uranium. So this is a big no-go for the U.S. So this is something that they're likely going to have to negotiate on. Iran is interested in de-escalation. China and Russia request meeting of UN Security Council on Iran. I think free if you lose this link. I think free if you use this link. Bosco, I don't actually have a Discord membership, guys. Look, down the line, I would consider launching some kind of group where it does require membership. But for now, what I'm doing is, if you want to join me on Telegram, if you click this link and you DM me this word, you're going to get a bot that actually messages you. And that bot will ask you whether or not you've signed up with one of my affiliate exchange links and you're trading on there. If you are, you're good to go to join the group for free. The reason why I say it's free is because it's the capital that you're already trading with. You're not paying me to join the group. So I don't even have a paid option yet. Maybe down the line I'll integrate it, but at this point in time, it's literally just signing up with one of my affiliate exchange links, and my group is on Telegram. I would highly recommend Bluffin. They do have a variety of assets. Second link in my description down below, where I'm longing silver, I'm shorting Bitcoin. You can essentially do whatever you want in terms of trading on Bluffin. It's a fantastic interface, and with my link, you do get some phenomenal bonuses, as I've alluded to earlier. But what I wanted to get at here is you want to see us reclaim $65,000. Otherwise, the structure looks very, very bad. Last week, we did get a break above this trend line, and we did reject. So if we go on the 4-hour chart, it was a pretty big rejection, but I was eyeing above $70,000 to consider adding to my existing shorts. Now, I didn't, because we didn't make it there. We actually made it just below $70,000, right above. We didn't even tap into the value area high, which was a key rejection level that I was eyeing. But here, this kind of reaction at the point of control of the range just tells you how weak things really were. And then the idea was trying to hold on to this value area low. If we can't hold on to the value area low, then naturally we move lower. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. This wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for Israel. I personally don't think it's going to end like US and Israel think. I don't know, man. I don't want to give any opinion on politics, geopolitics. I just trade the charts, right? And sometimes these events can impact the charts. All I know right now is my base case is still the same, and it has remained the same since we've essentially confirmed into a bear market. And that is that I think Bitcoin will ultimately head lower over the course of this year. I don't think that $60,000 was the bear market low. That being said, it can happen much later than most people think. We have all of these war escalations now, and your instinct is like, okay, we're going to absolutely plummet from here. We had a move down, but if we start reclaiming $65,000, there is actually a chance that we can go ahead and move higher. And I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but usually these things tend to get priced in. So that's why I always say that the charts come first. reclaiming 65, reclaiming the value area low, and things would actually start to look even more positive, and we may make a case to target the local highs at around $72,000 and perhaps as high as the tariff capitulation lows, even higher if the price action does get really crazy. Right now, I know it's scary, but you can see how this price action is developing. We're currently just chopping below $65,000. We don't get opinions on politics. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not going to talk about politics. I'll cover the news, of course, like whatever is happening that you need to be aware of, but it's at the end of the day, it rarely ever impacts my trading. If anything, perhaps I'll say, hey guys, I'm not trading for the next couple of days because, geopolitical tensions looks a little bit shaky. And then I'll just not trade for a few days. It's as simple as that. Capital preservation is absolutely crucial, especially in Bitcoin bear markets. The idea here is trading the market that's right in front of us, and I'm trying to make as much money as possible trading this market so I can then go ahead and accumulate Bitcoin near those bear market lows. You guys have heard me say this time and time again. You're probably getting sick of me saying it if you've been tuning into my previous live streams and watching my videos. But again, if you want to know how I'm trading the market on a day-by-day basis, you do have the first link in my description down below. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram. I'd be happy to add you to my private group. Let's see. Are there longs jumping in? A couple of longs here. A couple of longs. And then we got some shorts as well beforehand. Are you an insider trader? I wish. What does that even mean? Look, if I had knowledge of, if we were allowed to do that, then awesome, you can make money. But no, to answer your question, no. Monday will be a big red day. Bitcoin could look way worse today, as minimum 60K or so. Higher time frame levels reaching faster. 20K the lows or what's... I have to be honest, guys. I don't think that 20K is going to be on the cards for Bitcoin. Let's not get absolutely bearish. So far, things are looking okay. All things considered, Bitcoin is holding reasonably well. That's all we can really say. Bosco, it's sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name. Bosco, it's on Telegram, not on Discord. I do not have a Discord at this point in time. Oh, sorry, I just took a sip of my tea and that probably echoed for you guys. Anyways, point is, it still looks relatively okay. Now, if we take a look at the liquidations, something to consider here is that on the 1 month time frame, there is a good amount of longs and shorts in this market. Yeah. So if Bitcoin is to sweep these levels, I mean, look, there's a lot of liquidity to the downside, a lot of liquidity to the upside. But in bear markets, price trends downwards. That's just a fact. And so it is important to consider that the trend is still very much down on the higher time frames. Now, let's talk about bear market lows. First and foremost, we're going to discuss this again because I think it's very, very important to point out, especially if you haven't been tuning into the streams. Guys, bear market lows typically take time to form. Look at this. We were hovering around the same level for months, pumped, then came back down. There are opportunities to accumulate near the bear market lows, and I think that the same thing will likely play out wherever the low may be for Bitcoin. So what I'm trying to get at here is I doubt it's just going to be a wick. I think that it's going to be a lot of consolidation, at least for like a month or so at the bare minimum, because you can see here this price action, chop, several months actually. And then we're off to the races. Then we confirm above the bull market support band, confirm again, break below, and then we're off. This is where I start looking for swing longing opportunities in this market. If you've been trading the market, my overall strategy has remained exactly the same in this bear market, and it's to look for swing shorts, scalp longs. And that probably won't change for the foreseeable future. I still think that this year we do have some bearishness ahead of us on the higher time frames, but that doesn't mean we can't get relief in the immediate short term. I'm trying to address not just traders, but also spot holders. And the reality is on the higher time frames, it does look like we can easily head lower. But in the more immediate short term, we reclaim some of these key levels and we're making a case to target the local highs and the tariff capitulation lows. And this also is now coinciding perfectly with the the anchored VWAP, this light blue line over here. You're Croatian. Oh, I've been to Croatia. It is absolutely stunning. I love it there. Boom. Let's see. Legends. So you're not accumulating at all? No, man, I'm not accumulating at these levels. I bought Bitcoin sub 30K in the previous bear market. So I was accumulating here. I don't think that we're going to tap into those levels again. I sold some Bitcoin this cycle, not all of it. I will always have a longer term Bitcoin bag. But I think there's going to be some exceptional opportunities to purchase Bitcoin lower. That's at least what I'm going to be taking advantage of. Reminder, guys, nothing that I discuss on the channel should be construed as financial advice. This is for educational purposes only, and anything that I discuss is all of my own personal opinions, my own personal trades, and how I am navigating this market. So I just wanted to share that with you. Please remember, not financial advice. So let's see what Bitcoin can do here. Can we reclaim $65,000, or is this just going to start acting as resistance? What is next? Downwards, or can we get a little bit of a reclaim and target upwards? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll be reading them. Bro, tell us, what's the vibe there? Is everyone taking shelter? I have to be honest, everyone is just chilling. So it's, of course, a little bit scary, but there's, like I said at the beginning of the stream, there's nothing we can really do. I'm just here. Whether I'm in my apartment building or out for dinner, it's like, what can I really do? If I'm going to get hit, I'm going to get hit. So, yeah, at this point in time, I would say that people are operating as if nothing has really happened. But we have seen some missiles get shot down in the sky, which is pretty insane. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I nailed it, fake rally. What's my TP for silver? What if I just let it ride all the way to $1 gazillion? Honestly, I don't know. My first TP has been $100, but let's see. I don't know if I'm being greedy here because I did get a pretty solid entry just above $100, targeting this wick low. And by the way, if you want to trade silver, gold, stocks, crypto, anything, you do have the second link in my description down below. Join on Bluffin. You get VIP 1. And if you want to join my community, that's where you can DM me the word CBM to join that private group where I share all of my own personal trades. It is free. You're trading with your own capital. So I think that, yeah, that's my initial TP. But you can see here that on my silver trade, I did already secure some profits just because I wanted to. Essentially protecting my position. I don't really have a liquidation price, but stops will be at break even. It's a no stress position anymore. And with what's currently going on, precious metals can actually perform in this kind of environment as people look for safe havens. Naturally, gold could perform well as well. Stay safe. Hey, I'm based in the UK and want to start investing in Bitcoin. Jordan. So if you're serious about accumulating Bitcoin, what I would personally do, easiest way to get your hands on some Bitcoin is joining a CEX, centralized exchange that is. Like Bluffin, you click this link, and then you can actually get your hands on Bitcoin using this platform. Then once you have your Bitcoin, depending on what you want to do with it, if you want to hold it for the long term, you withdraw from the exchange and you put it into a wallet, a private wallet, cold storage. So that's what I do with my long-term crypto holdings. Now, whatever I trade is whatever I trade, and I keep this on Bluffin, of course, but any long-term holdings, cold storage is the way to go. Can't you drive out? I think to open any Bitcoin trades. I guess technically I could drive out, but tell me your thoughts. Great show, Matt. What do you think about using Bookmap? I think that's valid. I'll let you know what I think Bitcoin will do next. Got no idea at all. Valid, Rick Ty. Like no one has a crystal ball. No one can tell you, when did you start doing crypto? 2017 is when I first started. Thanks for that. Appreciate cold storage using a ledger, Trezor, anything you really want. Just make sure it's a reputable company and you're good to go. So yeah, I would buy it on something like Bluffin and then transfer it out if you're looking for long-term storage. I'm currently in Dubai. Let's see. So we've been streaming for like 30 minutes or so. Guys, let me know if you have any questions. At the end of the day, there's not much to do in terms of price action here. It's a Saturday. Everyone has their plans. I just thought I'd hop on because of all of these escalations. But aside from missiles getting shot out of the sky, there's not that much for me to update you on. But it is pretty crazy to see this live in person as well. I'll play some music. Yeah, that's valid, Rick Ty. When Lambo? I mean, it depends. If you giga shorted, as I did and as I shared in my community, and then maybe soon, maybe Lambo soon. But right now, I'm very, very comfy in my positions. Very, very comfy. James Rich, is Dubai where all... Yes, Palm Jumeirah has also technically seen fire and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy. Hi, I'm a Canadian. What city are you from? I'm actually born in Toronto. If you can't trade gold... Yeah. Is Dubai where all the rich crypto traders live? I would say that a good amount of them, but the reason why, and it's no surprise, we know that there's no taxes here. It's an environment where you can really thrive, and any profits that you make trading this market, you're kind of just chilling. It's as simple as that. Obviously, because everyone ends up flocking here, it makes for a very competitive environment, which I really do thrive in. I think I mentioned this in my previous stream. But yeah. It's a good place to be. Aside from all of these missiles flying over us. But yeah, it's a pretty solid place to be. Yeah, that's a valid. Don't do the Lambo, rent one first. I actually completely agree with that statement. If you make enough money to be able to purchase a car like that, first and foremost, you want to rent it, try it out, and actually decide if it's for you. Because most of the time, you're just craving that experience and novelty. And after a while, it'll probably just fade away. And you'll realize that you may have wasted money on such an item like that. Yes, sir, I did struggle when I started doing crypto. Of course I did. Guys, the growing pains in crypto are absolutely insane. Like, I have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars trading crypto before getting to the point that I am now. So, yeah, it's no surprise. It's not an easy industry to nail. I know so many people make it seem like, oh, altcoin season, if you just speculate on altcoins, you're going to make it. But we've seen this cycle that has been a load of crap. No, all my money is not in crypto. Yeah, guys, if you're looking for a fantastic exchange, remember, you do have the second link in my description down below. If you sign up here, There's going to be a new bonus coming relatively soon, so I need to update this. But if you're under my referral link, you get access to these fantastic bonuses, which can significantly reduce your fees, and you get access to my Telegram community, my private group, where I essentially share all of my own personal trades and how I'm operating in this market on a regular basis. So DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram after you've signed up with one of the links down below. Bluffin is my go-to. Currently longing silver and shorting Bitcoin. What's my personal opinion? Bitcoin with some altcoin exposure or Bitcoin and MicroStrategy? I know MicroStrategy performed well and then it dumped absolutely massively. I'm realizing that I'm halfway out of the camera. Okay, let me move over here. Let me just see if this updates. So, no, I don't hold MicroStrategy. I don't think it makes sense because at the end of the day, it's just a leveraged bet on Bitcoin. I prefer Bitcoin. So I will have my exposure in Bitcoin and I will continue to do that. Did you move to Dubai all alone? Yes, I did. I did move to Dubai all alone. I've never done leverage trading spot for a while. What's a good amount? Oh, if you've never done leverage trading, exactly. That's a very, very good point, the real PG. As little as possible. Regarding altcoins, I know some of you were asking me about alts. Guys, I think that it's not an environment conducive for altcoin outperformance. Let's just leave it at that. If you want exposure to crypto, the idea is Bitcoin. That's my non-financial advice. Moon Trades, thank you for the subscription. Dun, 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 dun. No. I'm not going to say that it's easy to have a bunch of friends here because it's so competitive and you're just trading and working and that's just what it is. It seems like it's always, I give you something, you give me something. So it is tricky to have very, very close, deeply rooted friendships here. That is for sure. But maybe I get a couple of my friends to come on over and live here with me. Thank you for live streaming today. My pleasure. My pleasure. Legends. Let's absolutely destroy the like button. We're not even at 100 likes. Come on. 250 you are watching and we're not even at 100 likes? Yes, I do speak French. French was my first language. I'm happy to say that I live in Dubai, but whenever I'm traveling, I don't share anything more than that. You must do vlog of your day, week. I've been thinking about it, doing some different kind of content. Let's see Bitcoin. What are we going to get here? Can we reclaim $65,000? Can silver go above $100? That would be very nice. Rockman, yeah, man, I'm doing my best. But the interesting thing with alts, and I'm not trying to just give anyone hopium, but I think we're gonna get to a point where altcoins are gonna be so what's the word I'm looking for? It's gonna be absolutely disgusting to even consider altcoins. People will give up on alts like you would not believe, and I mean like really giving up. People are going to think that altcoins will never, ever, ever have their time to shine, and we're going to get caught off guard, and there will be some moments where altcoins really do outperform in the next cycle. Again, if you're new to the stream, I've been very, very bearish on altcoins for well over a year now, but I do think that when everyone gives up is probably the moment where you want to start taking a look at some alts. And I'll keep you updated which alts that is, but if you watch my first ever live stream, you probably already know which one I'm thinking about near those bear market lows. What's your bear market low target area? Okay, let's talk about it. Go weekly time frame. I wanted to show you guys something very interesting. So let's go to these previous cycles. We take the bear market low, take a fib. We usually bottom between the golden pocket and the 786. Of course we can wick below there, but I would imagine that something similar is possible. Now I know this gives you a very big range, but if we take a look at the bear market, take from the previous bear market low, this is just an idea, guys, remember, not financial advice. But if we take a look at the previous bear market low, up to the high, that would put Bitcoin somewhere within this region. So this is why you've heard me say on the channel that it is not unlikely that we can't go below 50K. I actually think that there's a chance we maybe even get a wick there. I don't think that we're gonna, historically we've never ever tapped into the previous bear market lows. Like once those lows are established, Bitcoin basically never goes to that price again. So I do think it's going to be somewhere here. So for me to consider starting to slowly DCA in, I want to see us break below this level. Then the lower we go, the more I ladder in, and ultimately we start looking for something like that, where Bitcoin does perform much, much better going into the next bull market cycle, which some people are already starting to give up on and just don't think that it's possible for us to get that. Just waiting for Relief Rally to dump my... Oof, that's a tough position to be in, waiting for Relief Rally to exit alts. I've been there in the previous cycles, guys. It's very, very tricky. Right now, I'm not overly eager to jump into any new positions, that's for sure. Yes, 40K is reachable. I'm not calling for 40K, reminder. I'm just saying that it is actually reachable. It's possible. History would suggest that it's possible. The reason being, history suggests that we drop over 75% in bear markets. And from the high, we've only dropped approximately 53%. So the reason why this is interesting is because let's assume, okay, diminishing upside, but diminishing drawdown. There's institutions involved. Everyone's going to scoop up Bitcoin, whatever you want to think. I don't think that this is the bear market low. And let's assume that Bitcoin drops less than 70%. Look, we're sub 40K. This isn't a call for you to just wait until that level, because the reality is no one knows when the exact bear market bottom is. However, if you do believe in this asset class long term, like I do, it makes sense. I'm going to start laddering in. And then eventually, what's going to happen is we're going to form this kind of bottom. No one knows the exact price. I gave you my guesses. But then it doesn't matter if you've accumulated here or here or here when that happens in the next cycle. Not financial advice. I just think that this will likely repeat, as we've seen time and time again. That would be crazy, 12. Yeah, that would be crazy. 50K to 80, 100K, then down to 40K. That would be absolutely devastating for people. Wow. I would look to trade that, but hard to predict something like that. That's for sure. No, man, the bull market was fine if you were in BTC. If you want to get into my private group, first link in the description down below, DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, and you'll get access. You can join with any of these exchanges. We have Velto, which is self-custody, and they have some of the lowest fees on the market, BTCC, Weeks, and of course, Bluffin, which is my go-to exchange at this point in time. I've been trading on there for quite some time. Fantastic exchange. Gold, silver, stocks, crypto, whatever you want to trade is on there. It is my go-to. What do I think about ETH? What I think about ETH is what I think about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin determines the rest of the market. Sorry if that's not the answer you're looking for, but if Bitcoin nukes, so will ETH. It doesn't matter. And this is something that I've been trying to preach over the past year. 99% of the time, an altcoin has no way of outperforming if Bitcoin is not holding up relatively strong. If Bitcoin dumps, altcoins dump further, especially when we were in quantitative tightening over the course of this entire cycle. That's just what happened with monetary policy. So if we get into QE and the money printing starts, maybe alts outperform. But the reality is Bitcoin went up significantly from the bear market bottom to the top. This bull market, we pumped. I mean, a 700% return is not too bad if you ask me. This is why I've always been saying majority of crypto holdings should be in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin gives you exposure to the market and it also minimizes your downside risk, which during these drawdowns, altcoins do not perform well. Yes, absolutely. I will be trading stocks and metals in my group as well. I started testing them. This is why in my group I didn't post any stocks or metals, but I will be. I do prefer Bluffin though. Bluffin is my go-to, but you can join my group using Weeks if that interests you. Guys, head and shoulders on the 5-minute. You're not going to catch me trading the 5-minute chart on Bitcoin. I am not that kind of trader. I am a swing trader. Yeah, not going to happen. Head and shoulders on the 5-minute. You guys are crazy, man. I know some people get excited with these kinds of things, but not me. The real PG, I do think that ultimately stocks will have their correction, which they usually do in the midterm years. And as soon as we start losing the bull market support band, that's the time to get concerned. You can see here that so long as we hold above the bull market support band, stocks look relatively okay. But the moment that we lose it, whoomp. Tariff, capitulation, lows. I don't think that it's unreasonable to think that stocks can drop. This is very, very similar price action leading up to that first correction. Check this out. See the choppiness to the upside? Like, we're no longer making these aggressive all-time highs. And when stocks start stalling out like this, eventually we drop. Not to be that dramatic, but we do. And of course, this will impact Bitcoin when it does happen. Can you guys hear the music? Legends, 261 watching, 138 likes. Come on, Legends. Absolutely smash that like button. Smash the like. And remember, if you want to join my group, you do have the first link in my description down below. It's how I'm operating in this market. All right. Nice. Nice that you guys can hear the music. Happy to see that. Feeling groovy. Meanwhile, missiles are flying over me. Let's see if there's any new developments. I really like Walter Bloomberg here for developments. Real-time updates here. Dun, dun, dun. Reports conflict on who was targeted in Iran and how successful the attacks were. Even if senior officials were killed, that would be significant, but it wouldn't end the Islamic Republic. The supreme leader holds ultimate authority, but power isn't centralized in one person, and succession plans are already in place. Likewise, the Revolutionary Guards are deeply entrenched across politics, the economy, and security. Hitting their leadership would hurt, but not dismantle the system. Several Iranian figures have been eliminated. Unfortunately, I cannot travel to Canada till this settles because the airspace is closed here in the UAE. So we'll have to see. I have a buddy of mine that actually visited me from Canada, and we're both stuck here together. The situation seems to have calmed down a little bit, but literally right outside my apartment, like we're just hearing missiles getting shot down in the sky about 30 minutes ago. So let's see if there's any new developments, but it seems like we're starting to calm down. Max Stone, that is correct. So the way that it works in the UAE is, from a trading perspective, that's 100% correct. But if you have a business, it's after that business hits a certain amount of revenue, then you have to pay up to 9% tax from a business perspective. However, if you're an employee, 100% everything is tax-free, and there's processes and systems that allow you to be considered an employee, if that makes sense. But ultimately, it's just great. I've been really taking advantage of it, and it's a great place to be for sure. Dun, dun, dun. I will not. The cost of living in Dubai. I just saw that comment. It's look, it's not cheap. I'm not gonna say that it's cheap, but when you do the math, you end up retaining more capital, even though it's a little bit more expensive. That's all I can say. Yes, sir. I am okay. I am alive. If you're looking for the bear market lows, you can refer back to what we discussed earlier in the stream. Basically, to summarize, I think that we're going to bottom. It's a pretty big range, guys. But again, my target is somewhere in this vicinity, which is, you know, for like sub 40 all the way up to sub 60. Like it's going to be a range. There could be wicks to the downside, but I think that, you know, as I've mentioned several times, bear market bottoms take time to form. And I will be very vocal about when I start accumulating Bitcoin, trading it with leverage to swing trade, massive swing trades. I'm really, really looking forward to it. If you want to know exactly when I decide to take on my next big trade in this market, whether it's gold, silver, Bitcoin, at the bear market lows, anything, you do have the first link in my description down below. And if you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, I'd be more than happy to add you into my private group where I share all of my own personal trades. Remember, nothing is financial advice, but this is essentially where I post how I am personally operating in this market and trading it on a week-by-week basis. No, I don't. I'm not in a. I don't have a bomb shelter. I just figured, like, why not stream? Why not stream at this point in time? So. Iran tells UN in letter, all U.S. Israeli bases, facilities, assets in the region are legitimate military targets. Oof. Now we talk about oil, which is very, very interesting. If Iran follows through on threats to close the Strait of Hormuz, oil prices could surge past $100 per barrel. According to Bloomberg Economics, the biggest global impact would come through oil. In a worst-case scenario, closing the strait and hitting regional energy infrastructure, prices could climb as high as $108 per barrel. Very, very interesting. Reclaim a 65? Can we reclaim 65? Guys, I'd be very, very curious about my audience, legends. I want to know, are you guys, one, traders, like you're using leverage, trading the market, or are you more spot holders? I'm actually going to put out a poll and just ask. What do you... All right, poll started. Spot, long-term swing trade. That is valid, the real PG. But you'd be surprised, there's a lot of people that literally just trade and they don't believe in Bitcoin long-term. A lot of my trading is done with the purpose of accumulating more Bitcoin near the bear market lows. I've been quite vocal about that. We're getting a couple of new viewers here. Legends, if you're new and you're enjoying the live stream, or if you've been watching for a while and you haven't already, make sure to go ahead and smash that like button. We're at 178. Let's get this at 250. Let's get it to 250. Is that possible? Is it feasible? That's the real question. Trenching, I'm sorry, I love risk. Spot, swing trader, and investor. Valid. Nice long on oil. Same here, Matt. I haven't used leverage yet, need to learn. If you're going to start leverage trading, just make sure that you're starting very, very slowly. Can you do a video giving tips for people that are new to crypto? Yes, I can. I will consider filming something like that, especially because we're in a bear market. Maybe it's a good time to film something like that. And when more people start joining the space, then Life by Lauren May. Hello. How are you? How are you? Smash that button to know tomorrow. Haha. Now we see if Bitcoin reclaims the key levels that we're looking for. 65 is a very, very pivotal level. Got some nice shorts, longs, and we're just relaxing. Oil will be crazy. What are my thoughts on ashwagandha for trading? Bro, you don't need a supplement like that to trade. I like coffee. I don't have any experience with ashwagandha. But I've heard there's some benefits, but all I'm saying is you don't need it for trading. I would love trade management content. Abyss. Guys, everyone listen to what Abyss just said. Why are buying spot when you can just hold a Bitcoin long from the bear market bottom with 5x? Can anyone answer that question? Why on earth would you even bother holding spot? First and foremost, if you hold a long for the long term, you're paying some fees. Second of all, it is incredibly difficult to time the perfect bear market bottom for Bitcoin. I have a range, $10,000, $20,000 range, but timing it with leverage is very, very tricky. Now, I'm not saying I won't attempt it because I probably will. And if you want to know when I do go ahead and do that, you do have the first link in my description down below where I'll be sharing it in my community before I hop on the channel every single day. DM me CBM on Telegram. I'd be happy to onboard you there. But what I want to get across here is if you believe in the asset class long term, you buy at deep discounted zones and you get that upside, which is also relatively, I can't say risk-free. That would constitute financial advice in some capacity. But what I would like to say is it is far less risk to hold spot Bitcoin than it is to try to time a perfect long from the bear market lows. Can you time a perfect long from the bear market lows? It's possible, but it is not easy. I promise you that. It requires skill and luck. So yes, if you can time it, fantastic, take advantage of it. But the reality is I'm going to be buying some spot Bitcoin and trying to trade it with a portion of my capital. That's number 3, the real PG. That's, again, that valid. You're only holding paper Bitcoin if you're trading it with leverage. But the thing that you need to consider is some people just don't care about Bitcoin. So for them, they just want the upside of holding Bitcoin, ideally selling near the bull market top, and then being in a very, very good position after the fact. Very, very valid. Yeah, man, I'm going to pull a... Okay, guys, I'm literally hearing missiles right now as I'm doing this live stream. It's pretty insane. The amount of leverage that you use is irrelevant. It's all about the capital that you're risking per trade, as I've said time and time again. So for example, if you're set out to lose $1,000 on a trade, like you're willing to lose $1,000, then you can use that $1,000 with whatever leverage you want to increase your position size, but just know that the more leverage you use, the easier it is to liquidate that position. Especially, you know, I do use cross from time to time, but if you're not an experienced trader, I would not recommend cross margin, to be honest. Caffeine addict here. Valid. The real PG 777 valid. Dads of DeFi space. Thank you, my man. I remember chatting with you on Telegram as well. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, speaking of which, I know, please remember that there are a bunch of scams going around in the space. The only way that you can get in contact with me to join my private group is if you DM me a keyword on Telegram. If you just say hello on Telegram, I probably won't answer because I'm getting hundreds, if not thousands of messages regularly. However, if you DM me this, you'll get added to my group. That's where I share all of my own updates. And if you're trading with, for example, over $50,000, then at that point in time, I do consider adding people to a priority folder where I do get back to you personally. When I first started my group with all of my trades and stuff, Dads of DeFi was one of Dad's DeFi space was one of the guys that actually joined early on, which was pretty awesome. And I was answering every single person individually on Telegram. But please remember, there's a lot of scams in the space. This is the only valid link. First link in the description down below. Nice, Dad's DeFi space. Epic. Epic. Thank you, baby genius. Thank you for joining. Legends, 200 likes. Come on. Let's make it happen. Yep, I just heard the bomb blast now as well. Guys, I think that install Super Chat, bro. I should. Guys, it's impossible to know which months Bitcoin is going to get the perfect bottom. I know a lot of people want to know this. Usually it's 1 year after the top, which would suggest that the bottom of the bear market could be around October. But maybe there's a case to be made that the bottom will be sooner than most people are ready for because things have just been happening sooner. For example, we made an all-time high before the halving, which has never been done in Bitcoin's history, and therefore bottoms can be sooner, which is definitely something to consider. I just look at the price, and if it's an attractive level, I will consider going in, and I'll let you know as soon as I decide to do that with my own capital. Remember, nothing that I discuss on the channel should be construed as financial advice. First time watching, welcome, welcome, welcome. Do, 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 do. Good luck, my friend from Israel. We are in the shelters all day. Ukraine vibes in the UAE now. Damn it. May 20. That's an interesting early bottom guess. I don't think it will come that early. Very, very interesting. Legends. I do have some plans this evening, despite the missiles going off. But I just wanted to tune in and give you an update on the situation. Saw some missiles getting struck down. The UAE looks like they're taking care of whatever's coming over us. But at this point in time, I would want to see Bitcoin reclaim 65K properly before even considering a new long position. Right now my positions are as followed. I'm longing silver and I'm still shorting Bitcoin. Reminder, if you want to know how I'm moving in this market and quicker updates than the live streams and the videos and being able to see what I'm doing before I hop on the YouTube channel, you do have the first link in my description down below. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram to join my private group, and I look forward to seeing you inside. Very quick live stream today, but as always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. I hope all of you are safe. I hope everyone has a fine and lovely weekend. Touch grass, and I'll see you in the next video.